Geobyte.
Hello friends, welcome to the Geobyte. In this video, let us discuss the problems which were asked in DRDO and ISRO previous exams in strength of material. Dear friends, these are all the very important problems. You please practice each and every problem at least twice. Since all these problems are equal important, my request is please watch until the last problem. Look at the very first problem. A thin cylindrical pressure vessel with mean diameter 10 meters. Diameter of the pressure vessel given 10 meter and wall thickness 20 mm is subjected to an internal fluid pressure of 0.4 megapascal. If the yield strength of the material of the cylinder is yield strength is given 200 megapascal. The factor of safety according to maximum shear stress theory. You are asked to find the factor of safety according to maximum shear stress theory. Let me write the given data. The given internal diameter of the cylinder is 10 meter and thickness is 20 mm. Thickness equal to 20 mm equal to 20 divided by 1000 meters. Okay, is subjected to an internal pressure of 0.4 megapascal. Internal pressure P equal to 0.4 megapascal. Okay, the yield strength of the material of the cylinder, yield strength, let it be sigma y, is equal to 200 megapascal. You are asked to find the factor of safety according to maximum shear stress theory. Since the factor of safety is asked according to maximum shear stress theory, for that you need to decide the factor of safety based on the maximum shear stress. The maximum shear stress tau max equal to for thin cylindrical cell PD by PD by 40. Pressure is given 0.4. Diameter. What is the diameter? Diameter given is 10 meter. Diameter is 10 divided by 4 into T 20 by 1000. It can also be written as 0.4 into 10 into 1000. The 1000 goes up divided by 4 into 20. 4 into 20. You simplify this value for getting around 50 megapascal. So the maximum shear stress is 50 megapascal. This is the tau max. Then factor of safety. Therefore, factor of safety equal to the yield strength divided by 2 divided by tau max. This is the general formula. The yield stress is given 200 divided by 2 whole thing divided by maximum shear stress 50. It is equal to 100 divided by 50. Therefore, the factor of safety is equal to 2. Factor of safety is the ratio between the two stresses. Therefore, it is free from units. It has no units. Therefore, the answer is 2. Therefore, the answer is 2. Look at the option D. Option D is 2. Therefore, D is the correct option. I hope you understood. Let us go for the second problem. Look at the second problem. A discontinuity or jump in the shear force diagram occurs whenever a beam is loaded by, you know, the shear force diagram is suddenly jumping under the point load or concentrated load. Look at the options. Option A distributed moment, no. A distributed force, no. A concentrated moment, no. A concentrated force or load, a concentrated force or load. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. Remember, under the UDL, uniformly distributed load, the shear force diagram is linearly changing. Whereas under the point load, the shear force diagram is suddenly jumping, either from positive to negative or negative to positive, or either in the positive region or negative region. Anyhow, option D is absolutely correct. Let us go for the next problem. Look at the problem number 3. For the beam loaded as shown in figure, the magnitude of the bending moment at the roller support. Look at the diagram. This beam is having only moment. This beam is having only moment in the anti-clockwise direction at the free end. Since the moment is 100 Newton meter, what he is asking, the magnitude of bending moment at the roller support. Since the beam is having only the bending moment at the roller support, the same magnitude of bending moment is developed. Therefore, option A is correct. Once again, since the beam is subjected to bending moment at the free end, therefore the bending moment at the roller support is the same magnitude, that is 100 Newton meter. I hope you understood. Let us go for the another problem. Look at the fourth problem. When a solid circular shaft is in pure torsion. Solid circular shaft in pure torsion means the shaft is subjected to only torque and deforms elastically. The deformation takes place within the elastic limit. The shearing stress in the shaft is, the relation between the torque and shear stress is T by J equal to G theta by L is equal to tau by R. From this you take the first and the last relation. I can write that T by J equal to tau by R. Therefore, the shear stress tau equal to T by J into R, where R is the radial distance or R is the radius of the shaft. When the radial distance is increasing from the center, definitely shear stress increases. Reverse also possible. When the radial distance is decreasing, definitely shear stress decreases. Once again, let us read the problem. When a solid circular shaft is in pure torsion and deforms elastically, the shear stress in the shaft A is inversely proportional to the shear modulus. No, it is not correct. Varies linearly with the radial distance from the axis of the shaft. Yes, absolutely correct. So the shear stress is linearly varying with the radius of the shaft. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Look at the fifth problem. At a point in a body, the normal stresses are sigma x equal to sigma and sigma y also equal to sigma. Sigma x equal to sigma, sigma y equal to sigma. It is like this. Sigma x equal to sigma y is equal to sigma. Stress in x coordinate equal to stress in y coordinate equal to sigma. Okay. E is the Young's modulus, and this may be the mu. This may be the mu is the Poisson's ratio. Mu is the Poisson's ratio of the material of the body. Assuming the material to be linearly elastic and isotropic. Material is linearly elastic and isotropic. For the plane stress condition, the ratio of sigma x to epsilon x. This symbol is for strain. That means stress in x coordinate by strain in x coordinate is how much? That is the problem. As you know, the strain in x coordinate epsilon x equal to sigma x by E minus sigma y by ME. Here 1 by M equal to Poisson's ratio, that is given as small v or mu. Small v or mu, let it be mu. Then it can be written as sigma x by E minus mu into sigma y by E. But given sigma x equal to sigma y equal to sigma. So sigma by E minus mu sigma by E, Young's modulus. You write the sigma outside. Otherwise sigma by E outside into 1 minus mu. This is the strain in x coordinate. You are asked to find the stress in x coordinate. From this I can write that sigma by strain in x coordinate is equal to Young's modulus divided by 1 minus mu, but sigma equal to sigma x. So the sigma x divided by strain in that coordinate is equal to Young's modulus divided by 1 minus mu. That is the answer. I hope all of you understood. Let us go for the options. Young's modulus by 1 minus mu. Look at the option A. Option A, Young's modulus by 1 minus mu. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. Let us take the another problem. Look at the sixth problem. A cantilever beam has the cross section of an isosceles triangle and is loaded as shown in figure. Okay, it is given in the figure. We'll see. If the moment of inertia of the cross section is Izz equal to 1 by 36 meter power 4, then maximum tensile bending stress is how much? Look at the diagram. You know, this may be the axis. This may be the axis of the beam. Since the beam is subjected to moment in the clockwise direction, the all layers which are above the neutral axis are subjected to tensile stresses, and all the fibers below the neutral axis are subjected to compressive stresses. This layer maintaining compressive stress. Okay. That too, the beam is looking like a triangle, inverted triangle. This is the center of gravity G. Since the tensile bending stress are developed in the top side, so this is the region where the tensile bending stress are developed. Tensile bending stress. Tensile bending stress are developed. Okay. Now that this distance, this is centroid, GB the centroid, this is the y bar. That y bar equal to h by 3. This is equal to 1 by 3. Height of the triangle is given 1 and base also given 1 meter. Okay, no problem. Then the bending equation E by R equal to M by I equal to bending stress divided by Y. From this, you take this relation, bending stress by Y equal to M by I, or bending stress equal to M into Y divided by I. Here Y means Y bar. You have to take the Y bar. Now what is the bending moment which is given? The bending moment which is given in the problem is, look at the bending moment, 3 meganewton meter. 3 meganewton meter. 3 meganewton meter. Let it be in meganewtons only, because the options are given, the bending stress are given in megapascals. Okay. M you got it. Y bar. Y bar already I have written 1 by 3. 1 by 3. The centroidal distance from the base it is 1 by 3. From the apex it is 2 by 3 into total height. But this region I should not take. 1 minute. I should not take this region, because in this region compressed stress are developed. It is clearly given. You are asked to find the maximum tensile bending stress. Tensile bending stress are developed in the base side. So in here Y bar you got it. Then the I equal to BH cube by 36. Look at the base. Base is given 1 meter. Height also given 1 meter. It is equal to 1 into 1 cube divided by 36. It is equal to 1 by 36. The same value given in the problem. Look at the I value. I value given 1 by 36 meter power 4. The unit of the moment of inertia meter power 4. Therefore, the bending stress, tensile stress bending stress, M value 3 multiplied by Y bar 1 by 3 divided by 1 by 36. It is equal to, of course, this 3 cancel. Finally, 36 unit is megapascal. The answer is the tensile type bending stress. The tensile type bending stress. Tensile type bending stress is 36 megapascal. 36 megapascal. Look at the options. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Dear friends, for the same problem, if it is asked for the compressive type bending stress, this is the region where the compressive type bending stress are developed. For that, Y bar has to be taken 2 by 3 into total height h. It is equal to 2 by 3 into 1 meter. That is the Y bar for deciding the compressive type bending stress. But in this case, since it is asked tensile type bending stress, you have to take the base side centroidal distance. I hope you clearly got my point. Let us go for the another problem. Look at the 7th problem. The linear relation between the stress and strain of a material is valid until, if you look the stress strain diagram, stress versus strain diagram is looking like this. Up to proportional limit, let this is the proportional limit. Proportional limit. Up to the proportional limit, the stress and strain both are linearly changing. Stress is directly proportional to strain. According to Hooke's law, the stress by strain equal to Young's modulus. Remember, up to proportional limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. Is asking the linear relation between the stress and strain of a material is valid up to or until the proportional limit. Elastic limit is the limit up to which the material can get back to its original position under the removal of external load. Once again, elastic limit is the limit up to that limit the material can get back to its original position when you remove the external load. Anyhow, up to proportional limit, stress is directly proportional to strain, or stress by strain equal to Young's modulus. Let us take the one more problem. Look at the 8th problem. Which of the following can be measured of ductility of the material? Option A, area under engineering stress strain curve. No. Option B, percent of reduction in area in tension test. Absolutely correct. It is like this. When you apply the tensile load, this may be the body. When you apply the axial load means the load which is acting on the axis. Once you apply the load on the body, tensile load on the body is going to deform. Finally, the cross section of the body is going to decrease like this under the tensile load. So anyhow, because of the tensile load, the area of the cross section decreases. Now look at the options. Question is, which of the following can be the measure of ductility of material? Option B, percentage reduction in area in tension test. Remember, when the tension test is applied, area reduction takes place. Similarly, when the compression test is applied, area increment is happening. Therefore, for this particular problem, option B is the correct. I hope you are all following. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 9th problem. At the point of contraflexure of beam, the point where the bending moment diagram changes its sign from positive to negative or negative to positive is called point of contraflexure. At the point of contraflexure, bending moment is 0. And remember, you can find the point of contraflexure in the overhanging beam. Once again, point of contraflexure means the point where the bending moment diagram changes its sign from positive to negative or negative to positive. It means at the point of contraflexure, bending moment is 0 and is generally found in the overhanging beam. Look at the options. The shear force is 0. No. Option B, the sign of curvature in the deflection curve changes. Okay. Option C, the bending moment reaches a maximum value. No, this is not correct. Look at the option D, maximum deflection occurs. No. Anyhow, D is also not correct. Option B, sign of curvature in the deflection of the curve changes. Here deflection means bending moment bending moment diagram changes its sign from negative to positive. Therefore option B can be selected. At the point of contraflexion, the bending moment diagram changes its sign from negative to positive or positive to negative. Anyhow, B is the correct option. Let us go for the another problem. Look at the 10th problem. A material has a Poisson's ratio 0.5. Generally, Poisson's ratio denoted by 1 by m, of course, may be mu equal to 0.5. Okay. If a body is made of this material and is subjected to external forces within the elastic limit, then the final volume of the body is let us decide it. The relation between the Young's modulus and bulk modulus, you know it. Young's modulus E equal to 3k into 1 minus 2 by m. This is the relation between the Young's modulus and bulk modulus. Here 1 by m equal to Poisson's ratio. 1 by m equal to Poisson's ratio. That Poisson's ratio is given 0.5. It is equal to 3 into k into 1 minus 2 into 0.5. 2 into 0.5. From this I can write that 3 into k into 1 minus 1 equal to 0. 1 minus 1 equal to 0. Anyhow, the k equal to Young's modulus divided by 3 into 0 e by 0, anything by 0 is equal to infinity. Here bulk modulus is infinity. Bulk modulus is infinity means the body is very rigid body. It is not entertaining any deformation. You take the cork ball, cricket ball, though the batsman is hitting many times, it is not going for any deformation. Such kind of material is maintaining the bulk modulus is infinity. Anyhow, since the bulk modulus is infinity, the body does not go for deformation. If the body is not going for deformation, what is the final volume? Final volume and initial volume both are identical. Is asking, you are asked to find the final volume of the body. Final volume of the body. Option A, thrice that of initial volume? No. B, twice that of? No. 0? No. Equal to initial volume of the body. Since the bulk modulus is infinity, the body is coming under rigid body like stone. It is not going for deformation. Therefore, initial volume and final volume are identical. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. A rectangular area is shown in figure. The value of product of inertial Ixy is. Look at the diagram. It is a rectangular one. Since the given one is rectangular one, it is symmetrical. It is symmetrical about x-axis, about both x-axis and y-axis. Since it is symmetrical about both x-axis and y-axis, symmetrical means here if you cut the section on y-axis, you are getting exactly two equal parts. This is one equal part and this is the other equal part. Similarly, you cut it on the x-axis, you are getting two equal parts. Therefore, it is symmetrical about both x-axis and y-axis. Since it is symmetrical about both x-axis and y-axis, then Ixy equal to 0. Since it is symmetrical about both x-axis and y-axis, Ixy is 0. Therefore, look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 12th problem. Hinge support is not capable of resisting. As we know, hinge support cannot resist the moment. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. Remember, hinged support cannot capable of absorbing the moment or resisting the moment. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Next problem is, look at the problem. A straight bar having a constant cross-sectional area A, length L and weight W is having vertically, if Young's modulus E be the Young's modulus of the material of the bar, the total increase in length of the bar due to its own weight is. The problem is given like this. A bar may be hanged like this. A bar may be hanged like this. It may be hanged like this. The self weight may be W. Because of the self weight, the body is going to deform. It is given that Young's modulus is E. The uniform area of the cross section is A. Then change in length due to self weight. Change in length due to self weight is equal to WL by 2AE, where W equal to self weight. L be the original length of the body, A be the uniform cross section, and E be the Young's modulus is coming under material property. Look at the options. Look at the option A, WL by 2AE. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the problem. A solid circular shaft of diameter D is subjected to pure torsion. Solid circular shaft is subjected to only torsion. Pure torsion means only torsion. Then the maximum tensile stress induced. Dear friends, because of the torsion, only shear stress are developed. Because of torsion, because of only torsion, only shear stress are developed. Only shear stresses are developed. Since he is asking the tensile stress, look at the problem. The maximum tensile stress induced. Since it is having only torsion, the tensile stress developed equal to 0. Tensile stress. This tensile stress may be either compressive in nature or tensile in nature. That tensile stress is equal to 0 because of the pure torsion. Look at the option. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us go for the another problem. Look at the 15th problem. A thin cylinder of inner radius R and thickness T. Here the thickness is T. Okay. Subjected to a uniform internal pressure P. Neglecting the radial stress, the maximum shear stress in the wall of the cylinder is. You are asked to decide the maximum shear stress. As you know, the circumferential stress sigma c equal to PD by 2T. The longitudinal stress equal to PD by 4T, whereas the shear stress or maximum shear stress equal to sigma c minus sigma L by 2. Sigma c equal to PD by 2T minus PD by 4T into 1 by 2. You simplify this one for getting PD by 8T. But look at the options. All options are given in terms of radius. As you know, the radius equal to half of the diameter or diameter equal to 2 times the radius. So it can be written as P into 2R by 8T. Now you simplify this one, PR by 4T. This is the maximum shear stress developed. The maximum shear stress developed is PR by 4T, where P equal to internal fluid pressure, R equal to radius, T equal to thickness of the thin cylindrical shell. Now look at the options. My answer is PR by 4T. Look at the option C. Option C, PR by 4T. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 16th problem. For a particular load distribution and support condition in a beam of length L, bending moment at a section x is greater than 0 but less than L is given by mx equal to ax square minus ax minus bx square. Okay, m at a distance of x equal to ax minus bx square. Very good. Where a and b are constants, the shear force in the beam will be 0 at Here bending moment m is given. Let me write that value. Bending moment m equal to ax minus bx square. Let me check it. Ax minus bx square. You are asked to find the x value in terms of a and b at shear force equal to 0. So you know the shear force. 1 minute. You know shear force F equal to dm by dx. He is given the shear force is 0. This is equal to 0. D by dx, m value ax square minus ax only, not ax square. 1 minute. Ax minus bx square. He is asking the relation between, once again let us read the problem. The shear force in the beam will be 0 at. So at what condition shear force is 0? Shear force F equal to dm by dx, rate of change of bending moment. That must be equal to 0. It must be equal to 0. Then A minus 2bx is equal to 0. From this I can write that 2bx equal to A, x equal to A by 2b. So at this condition, when x equal to A by 2b, the shear force will be 0. Look at the problem. Look at the option. Option A, x equal to A by 2b. You got, once again let us check it. X equal to A by 2b. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the 17th problem. A hollow cylindrical shaft is 1 meter long and has inner diameter and outer diameters as 40 mm and 60 mm. Diameters are given respectively. So this is the inner diameter, this is the outer diameter. Okay. When this shaft is subjected to a pure torsion of a certain magnitude, maximum shear stress induced is 120 megapascal. Maximum shear stress induced in the shaft is 120 megapascal. The corresponding minimum value of shear stress induced will be, you are asked to decide the minimum shear stress. It is like this. Listen carefully. Let us take the hollow shaft. This may be the hollow shaft. This is the hollow shaft. With respect to center, this is the outer radius, let it be R1, and this is the inner radius R2. Outer radius equal to D1 by 2. The D1 given, look at the D1, 60 mm, D2 40 mm. 60 by 2 is equal to 30 mm. Similarly, R2 equal to D2 by 2 equal to 40 by 2 is equal to 20 mm. You know, maximum shear stress are developed at the outer radius. At R equal to R1, tau becomes tau max. That tau max is given 120 megapascal. 120 megapascal. Remember, maximum shear stress are developed at the outer radius. Minimum shear stress are developed at the inner radius. Now, at R equal to R2, at the inner radius, what is the minimum shear stress? Tau minimum equal to how much? It is like this. Tau max by R1 must be equal to tau minimum by R minimum means R2. From this, the minimum shear stress is equal to tau max by R1 into R2. Therefore, the minimum shear stress is equal to tau max. Tau max is given 120 divided by R1 30 multiplied by 20. You simplify this value, 34 times 420, 20 into 4 is equal to 80 megapascal. Therefore, the minimum shear stress developed at the inner radius, is 80 megapascal. Look at the options. Look at the option D. Option D, 80 megapascal. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. Look at the 18th problem. At a particular cross section of a straight bar of rectangular cross section. The given cross section is rectangular. The bending moment is 10,000 Newton meter. The bending moment is 10,000 Newton mm, not Newton meter. Okay. And the axial force acting through the centroid of the cross section is 1000 newtons. The axial force is also acting in addition to bending moment. Okay. If the area of cross section is 100 mm square and the area moment of inertia about the centroidal axis 1000 mm power 4. Moment of inertia given 1000 mm power 4. Area of cross section given 100 mm square. Okay. The distance between centroidal axis and neutral axis. You are asked to decide the distance between centroidal axis and neutral axis. Different options are given. As you know, my dear friends, this problem is for combined effect of the axial stress and bending stress. Because of the axial load, because of axial load, axial stress are developed. Because of axial load, axial stress are developed. Axial stress are developed. That axial stress equal to P by A, simply load by area of cross section. Because of bending moment, bending stress are developed. Bending stress are developed. The bending stress can be found from the bending equation. Bending equation is E by R equal to M by I equal to M by Y equal to sigma B by bending stress by Y. From this, the bending stress sigma B equal to My by I, My by I from this particular relation. So, the magnitude of bending stress is sigma B, axial stress is P by A, let that is some value, then the resultant stress, very important problem. The resultant stress is equal to axial stress plus or minus bending stress. Now, the resultant stress is 0 at neutral axis. The resultant stress is 0. It is 0 at neutral axis. Therefore, 0 equal to axial stress P by A plus or minus the axial stress plus or minus bending stress My by I. Okay, My by I. So from this I can write that My by I equal to P by A. Therefore, distance from he is asking to find the distance from or the distance between the centroidal axis and neutral axis. Distance from neutral axis to centroidal axis from this Y equal to Pi by M into A. Here P given 1000 newtons and I moment of inertia. Look at the moment of inertia. 1000 mm power 4. P is 1 minute. P is 100, not 1000. P 1 minute. P is, yes, absolutely correct. So P is correct only. The P is 1000 newtons, absolutely correct. P into I is also 1000 divided by bending moment 10,000. This I value bending moment is 10,000 multiplied by area is 100. You simplify this value for getting 1 mm. Therefore, distance between the centroidal axis and neutral axis Y equal to only 1 mm. That is the answer. I hope you got my point. Look at the options. Look at the option B, 1 mm. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the Next problem. A steel rod of length 300 mm is held between two fixed supports so that the rod cannot elongate or contract in the axial direction. That means the beam is or the rod is fixed between the two rods. This may be one fixture, this other fixture. Between these two fixtures, a rod may be placed like this. This is the rod. The length of the rod is given 300 mm. Okay, 300 mm. Okay. Then the temperature of the rod is raised by 20 degrees centigrade. The rise in temperature of rod equal to 20 degrees centigrade. The axial stress induced in the rod due to this rise in temperature is, of course, because of the increase in temperature, the body tries to elongate. But the rigid fixtures are placed at both ends. The rigid fixtures are not allowing any deformation. Since the deformation is restricted, definitely thermal stress are developed. Remember, my dear friends, as long as the rod due to temperature change is freely extending or contracting, no thermal stress are developed. You take the railway track, in between the two rods of the railway track, you can find a small gap. That gap is for allowing the expansion or contraction. As long as the rods are freely expanding or contracting, no thermal stress are developed. But in this case, since the fixtures are placed at its both ends, because of the restriction, definitely thermal stress are developed. For that, Young's modulus of the material given 200 gigapascal can also be written as 200 into 10 power 3 megapascal. And the coefficient of linear expansion 11.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 per degree centigrade. You are asked to find the thermal stress. You know, thermal stress due to temperature change. Thermal stress due to temperature change. Thermal stress due to temperature change. Sigma Th equal to general formula E into alpha into dt. So the E equal to Young's modulus 200, let it be in megapascal, into 10 power 3. Alpha is 11.5 into 10 power minus 6 into dt given 20 degrees centigrade. You simplify this value for getting 46. The answer is in megapascal, 46 megapascal. Of course, the same value can be written as 46 Newton per mm square, because 1 megapascal is equal to 1 Newton per mm square. Therefore, the answer is 46 megapascal. Look at the options. Look at the option B. Option B, 46 megapascal compression. Definitely it is in compression. The reason behind that is because of the increase in temperature. Here temperature is raised by 20 degrees centigrade. Because of that increase in temperature, the body tries to elongate. But fixtures are opposing the elongation. Therefore, the compressive force is developed on the rod. Because of the compressive force, compressive stress are developed. So option A, 46 megapascal tension, not tension. It is under compression. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Once again, because of the increase in temperature, the body tries to elongate. But the fixtures are opposing the elongation. Because of the restricting the elongation, the body is indirectly contracting. Because of the contraction, compressive stress are developed. with a magnitude 46 megapascal. I hope you clearly got my point. Let us go for the one more problem. Look at the 20th problem. PL cube by 3EI is the deflection under the load P of a cantilever beam of length L. Modulus of elasticity is E and moment of inertia I. The strain energy due to the bending. You are asked to find the strain energy due to bending. You know, it is given that the cantilever beam. It is given that the cantilever beam. This may be the cantilever beam. The load is acting at the free end P. Let this is the A, this is the B. Length of the beam is given L. Of course, it may be small l or capital L. Because of the loading, deflection is happening. The deflection due to loading, the deflection due to load, due to point load at its free end, at its free end. Let that is delta equal to, it is given P, how much it is given, let it be PL cube by 3EI. PL cube by 3E and I. That is the deflection. Therefore, the strain energy U equal to half into load into deflection. Half into load into deflection. It is equal to half into the load P into deflection delta. It is equal to half into load is P into deflection given PL cube by 3EI. Simplify this value for getting P square L cube by 6EI. This is the strain energy stored in the beam. The strain energy stored in the beam is denoted by U. Therefore, strain energy stored in the beam equal to P square L cube by 6EI. Look at the options. Look at the options. Look at the option B. P square L cube by 6EI. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. My dear friends, with this, I am closing this video. In the coming video, I will prepare some more problems for you. You please practice all these problems because these are all the problems which were given in the previous DRDO exam and ISRO exam. Therefore, you practice each and every problem at least twice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.